Hello, everybody. Uh, Here we are, Murder at the Old Fields, forensic science lab activity. Cool part about this is basically going to be our project for the rest of the year. How we would kind of use this as um, our final project. You know, we'd have our crime scene and process that and present it and things. Well, here, this is about as good as we get for online. And so I think you guys are going to kind of like it. I mean, it's really like a computer game that you're using here. So I've created logins for everybody. This is actually a thing that you have to pay for, and it's actually pretty darn expensive. But I've worked a deal through our textbook company and things that with the new textbook that we have logins for this. And so I've been working on that the last week. And so everyone should have a login. So I'll have this link up on Google Classroom. You're going to go to Murder at Old Fields, okay? And you can see this creepy house here, kind of cool. Uh, and so you're going to hit login. This is my wife's deal here because I've got to have a student one that I kind of can look through and see what you guys see. But you'll have your username and password, and then you can go ahead and change your password. You know, once you're into the system there, you don't have to use that same one. You can keep that same one. Or if it ever screws up, you can message me and I'll reset your password. So I'm going to log in here. And so we're at this is what my wife has done here in the Murder at the Old Fields. And so basically what we have is this crime that's occurred. And this crime, there's two parts to each part of the different types of evidence. And you can see there's the crime itself, which is going to tell you the background story and everything like that. You're going to find some hair, some blood, some fingerprints, some DNA, and some footprint evidence. So that's kind of cool that that's really all the stuff that we've done throughout the whole year, which is why I think this is a great way, rather than take like a final test and things, that we're going to work through this. Each one of these things right here has a quiz that goes with it and then lab work that goes with it. And so you can see here that none of the quizzes have been complete in the center there. And we're working on the evidence here. And so the lab results are not complete, okay? So if you move across the top here, you get two different parts of the crime. And so here's your progression that shows you how far you've got. This is what I see on my end, and then I can see everything like that you've submitted and done and quizzes and things like that. So that's how I'm going to know how well you're doing here. For each one of these, so hair analysis, there's a lab work that's going to be worth 10 points, and then the quiz is going to be worth 10 points. And so each one of these 10, or there'd be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 points here that we're going to do over the next couple of weeks. And so I'm going to give you weeks to do this. Seniors, you're basically doing this till you run out. Juniors, we got one more thing that we have to do after this. You guys got to kind of stick around. And then the crime only has a quiz that goes with it. Okay. And so if you scroll across the top, then classroom, this is where you get to basically your information. And so if you're ever struggling, you're saying, God, I don't remember that about hair. I don't remember that about blood. Okay, you can go to the lesson, and the lesson will tell you all sorts of stuff about it that will refresh your memory. Okay, so that's in classroom. That's where we're going to learn. And then when you're ready, you take a little quiz. So the first lesson I'd like you guys to do is, this is going to tell me that you're in the system and you're up and going, is go to crime. I want you to read down through the crime that's occurred, kind of has some maps and things, and then take a quiz. The quiz you only get to take once. And I will tell you this, if you miss, one or so, if it's a short quiz, like some of them are only like 5 questions, if you miss one, I'm still going to give you a good grade on it. If it's a longer quiz, like this crime one is a little bit longer and you missed 1 or 2, I'm still going to give you a pretty good grade on that. So don't think that, man, you got to just scour through and find everything. If you happen to miss one here, it's not going to destroy your grade, but you want to kind of take a look at that. And then, okay, it says you could take the quiz. And so that's back in classroom. So you could say hair, let me see the lesson on hair. Okay, and you can read down through it, and then it says hair analysis quiz. Okay, and you can take a look and take your quiz. Okay, so you got to take a quiz and you got to do lab work. All right, so that'd be how do you find information in quizzes. Now, how do you find, okay, what's going on at the crime scene? So here is our crime scene. Ooh, the farmhouse, okay, where the crime scene has occurred. It's scary. All right, so you navigate your way around, okay, by using the arrows, and you click on those, okay, and move around the crime scene. I'm going to move this down a little bit so you guys can see this a little better. All right, now down at the bottom when you're on the crime scene, if you're going to look at things, okay, you always have your magnifying glass. And your magnifying glass is if you want to move this around and you want to find something, okay, that maybe like these footprints, oh my gosh, we want to look at. Well, looks like my wife has already found those things, or I did, okay? And look, there's a little droplet of blood. When you find something, see how that turned green? Okay, that tells you you're on a piece of evidence when that turns green. Then you can say, examine that evidence. All right, and now you'll notice down below, you got two more things that popped up. You can take a picture of it because you'll use that. We'll show you where you're going to find that. And then you could swab that blood because you'll use that later when you go to the lab. All right, you're going to move your way around the house, finding different evidence. If you get stuck, I can help you out and point you to where some evidence is and things of that sort. All right, and then this over here tells you the amount of evidence that you found of each one of those. Okay, so that's our crime scene. You got to go around and find, all right, the different, and I will tell you it's a little gruesome in there with the bodies and things like that. So get ready for that. So that's our crime scene tab. Then we go to lab analysis. So now let's say you want to go through and analyze that evidence. Okay, so piece of evidence that, oh, so sorry, this is one trick here. You've got to select a lab. So what do you want to, okay, find? And so let's say we want to do, since we just found some blood, we want to do some blood typing. Okay, now you can go say what kind of evidence. All right, and so then where did I find that? On the front porch. Okay, now you're going to go through and click through. And remember, this is just like we did in class. Okay, agglutination means a positive result. So agglutination here, so this would be blood type A, positive. And now you can say, all right, let's match it with some suspects. Okay, and so, oh, let's see, Alexander Smith does not match. Okay, and you could keep clicking through. Another suspect. Okay, all right, another suspect. And, oh, wait a minute, Henry Bauer. Okay, and so now we go down below. Okay, and you would say serum A, all right, has a, oh, it's already in there, reaction. So this one has a reaction. Okay, no reaction, and had a reaction. Okay, so it's A, positive, and Henry Bauer. Okay, and so now, okay, you've logged that in. Okay, now one trick here is if you click on this that says submit current lab, it's going to pop this up and it says, are you sure you want to submit? Once you submit, you're no longer able to make changes to your blood typing lab. Well, we don't want to do that. That's a big no-no, because as you notice down here, I'm not ready. I have all sorts of evidence, okay, that I haven't found and things like that I haven't matched up with. So I don't want to do that. Okay, so this is where finally, if you had all of your blood done, you could say submit that, and then it would go and you'd be done with that lab. All right, so this is the lab portion. Remember back here, all right, in classroom would be the crime portion, or the quiz portion. You could take the quiz on that. And those are the two things I look for when you look back here at progression to see blood, how much have they done, and is the quiz complete, okay? Finally, when you get done with all of these things, all right, you are then going to make a final call, and you're going to figure out who, okay, committed this murder of this couple and so of these two people. And so this is where you can see your case file here. This kind of tells you everything that you've done. So now you can start to put all the pieces together and say, okay, what actually occurred here, until finally at the end, you'll make a decision. All right. And that's going to be worth 40 points. So if we go back to progression, all right, the crime, 10 points, you take a quiz. There's no lab work with that. You're just reading those, what the crime is. Each one of these, there's a quiz and a lab that goes with 10 points for each one of those. Okay. All right. And I may adjust the point value on those. Again, I haven't done this before, so I don't necessarily know. So if the lab's worth more, I might go 5 points a quiz and 15 points a lab, something like that. But they're going to be worth 20 apiece. And then finally, your end result. So you'd have, here's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and 110. Okay. And then 40 points for what you think happened in the crime. This is going to end up our year. And so this is a way that we are done with things, that we're going to count this as kind of our final test. And I think this is a great final test. It goes over most everything that we've done throughout the entire year. And really this semester, it goes over stuff. The only thing we missed out on was handwriting analysis, and it's not on this particular thing anyway. So you guys have done a great job. I think this is going to be a fun way to do this. And I'm going to keep you working each week, okay, showing me progression. So the first thing I want to see is that you have done this crime and taken the quiz. That's going to say, I can look in there and say, okay, yes, they're with me. They know what's going on. And then I'm going to have little assignments that say, hey, you get points, okay, each twice a week for basically moving along. All right. And so some of you, if you get done, I'm just going to give you points that you've moved along. So you have to keep moving throughout the week. Keep yourself moving along. This isn't something you definitely want to sit down and say, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything for 3 weeks, and now I've got to do this in one night. And so I'll be messaging you and telling you to get your butt going and things like that. So anyway, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. It's Murder at the Oldfields, and we'll see how this goes. I think it's going to be great. All right. And you guys take care, hunker down, and hit me with any questions that you have, and we'll get going.